I disappeared on Christmas Eve, and I let 35 strangers starve in my childhood home while my mother watched the ovens stay cold. I wasn't kidnapped. I wasn't dead. I was sipping champagne at 33,000 feet, watching the city I'd served my whole life shrink into a handful of Christmas lights somebody else would have to plug in this year. My name is Elias. 30 years old. The reliable one. The one who answers the phone on the second ring, who keeps spare folding chairs in his trunk, just in case, who knows exactly which lie my mother tells when the credit card gets declined. People call me calm. I call it survival with a smile stapled on. Growing up, our house had two speeds, chaos and performance. My little sister Nova was the performance. I was the stagehand who never got to leave the wings. See, Nova doesn't walk into rooms, she arrives. Hair like a storm cloud, laugh like breaking glass, ideas that cost money she never had. Mom and Dad orbited her like she was made of gold and they were afraid someone would steal her if they blinked. Me. I was the vault they kept the gold in. Solid. Quiet. Useful. They started charging me rent at 17. Nova got a car at 19 for her art. I paid for the insurance on that car when the universe forgot to reimburse her. Every holiday, every birthday, every random Tuesday someone decided to gather the tribe, the text came. Elias, can you pick up ice? Elias, can you grab Aunt Ren? Elias, can you Venmo me 200 for the floral arch? I always thumbs upped. Because saying no felt like pulling the pin on a grenade I'd still have to hold. This December I finally saved 3 vacation days. 3. I guarded them like a dragon guards the last scrap of gold. I pictured Christmas morning in complete silence. Coffee I didn't have to share. A book. A locked door. That was the dream. December 23rd I stopped by the house with a box of pastries from work. Mom was already vibrating. Nova was draped across the couch filming herself for content. Dad was pretending to watch football while actually counting chairs. Mom didn't even say hello. She just smiled the smile that always comes right before the ask. Perfect timing, Eli. Nova's entire collective is doing Christmas here tomorrow. Only 35. You'll handle everything, right? You're so good at this. 35. Only 35. She said it like 35 was a rounding error. Like I was a wedding venue with feelings. I stood there holding the pastries while she pulled out the industrial sheet pans. Nova, without looking up, we're doing small batch, cozy, aesthetic winter solstice vibes. You'll make it look effortless, Eli. Dad grunted from the recliner, man of the house steps up. The sentence landed on my chest like a cinder block. I felt the old reflex kick in, my mouth already forming the yes that had kept me alive for 30 years. But something inside me cracked open, quiet, surgical, final. I set the pastries down. Walked to the sink. Turned the tap on scalding. Watched the steam rise like a ghost finally allowed to leave the house. That night I didn't sleep. I opened the secret folder on my laptop titled When. Inside, a booked flight to Lisbon leaving at 11:55 p.m. Christmas Eve. Hotel on points. Solo. I'd bought the ticket in September and told no one. Because in my family, dreams are communal property until they're useful. Christmas Eve morning they held a run-of-show meeting like I was the hired help. Mom had color-coded binders. Nova had ring lights. Dad had threats disguised as wisdom. Mom slid the binder across the table. Shop by 4. Turkeys, ham, 3 kinds of dietary restrictions I've never even heard of. Rental chairs delivered at 9. You'll pick up the tent deposit today, yes. $900. The room went so still I heard the refrigerator hum change pitch. Nova actually dropped her phone. Mom's smile froze midair like a glitch. Dad's face cycled through every shade of red he owned. What do you mean no? Mom finally whispered. I mean I'm not doing it. Any of it. Nova laughed, sharp, cruel. You're having a breakdown. Cute. Dad slammed the table. You will not humiliate this family. I stood up slowly. My knees didn't even shake. I'm not humiliating anyone. I'm clocking out. Mom reached for the ultimate weapon, guilt wrapped in love. After everything we've sacrificed. I cut her off. You sacrificed my childhood. I paid rent on it. Silence so thick it had weight. Nova, so what, we cancel. I have influencers flying in. Me, use your ring light money. Dad pointed at the door. Leave this house and you're not welcome tomorrow. I smiled for the first time in years. Perfect. I took the box of pastries back. I took the spare key I'd had since high school. I took the last shred of obligation they still thought they owned. At 9:12 p.m. I was in a cab to the airport. Phone on Do Not Disturb except Grandma. At 10:03 p.m. the tent company emailed, deposit overdue, releasing hold. I forwarded it to Mom with no comment. 11:55 p.m. wheels up. I turned my phone off and cried, quiet, hot tears that tasted like freedom. Christmas morning I woke up over the Atlantic. No lists. No ice runs. Just clouds and the hum of an engine carrying me away from a life I never agreed to. When I landed in Lisbon and turned my phone on, it convulsed. 78 missed calls. A new group chat titled, Emergency. I scrolled. Mom 4:17 p.m., guests are here. Nothing is cooked. Nova 4:21 p.m., the oven is cold. Elias, where are you? Unknown number 4:45 p.m., hey, this is River, is the charcuterie station gluten-free? Mom 5:03 p.m., your aunt is asking where the ham is. Nova 5:27 p.m. I'm telling everyone you had a psychotic break. Dad 5:41 p.m., be a man for once in your life. I read every frantic text while eating warm pastillas de nata on a balcony overlooking the Tagus River. The sun was setting red and gold and nobody needed ice. Grandma sent a photo at noon, her and Aunt Ren wearing paper crowns in a quiet restaurant, plates piled high, smiling like conspirators. Caption, sometimes the best family is the one you choose. Later that week I removed myself from every family plan, every shared account, every emergency contact list that treated me like a utility. I blocked the numbers that only called when they needed something. I kept Grandma. I kept Aunt Ren. I kept me. They still tell the story, I'm sure. How selfish Elias ruined Christmas. How he abandoned family. They leave out the part where they feasted on my time for 30 years and never once asked what I was hungry for. Here's what they'll never understand. Walking away wasn't the betrayal. Staying would have been. I'm sitting in a tiny apartment in Alfama now. There's a scratch on the table from my coffee cup. It's mine. The silence is mine. The future is finally, gloriously blank. Sometimes I still wake up at 4 a.m. reaching for a phone that isn't ringing. Old habits. But then I remember. The chairs are folded in someone else's trunk now. The ice is someone else's problem. And I am no longer the emergency exit for people who never learned how to open the door themselves. So here's the part where I look straight into the camera and ask you the question that still keeps me up some nights. If the people who are supposed to love you the most only love you when you're carrying their weight, when you finally put it down, are you the villain? Or are you just, finally, free? Tell me in the comments. If this happened to you, would you have boarded that plane? Or would you still be in that kitchen, waiting for someone to say thank you? That was never going to come. Hit subscribe if you've ever had to choose yourself when no one else would. And if you're still carrying someone else's Christmas, maybe this is your sign to book the damn ticket. I'll see you when you land. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere yours.